Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to Tekpon. Today our guest is Dharmendra, the founder and CEO at MergerWare. Hello.
Hi Krishna, good to see you today,
Nice to meet you.
and happy to have him. Yeah.
Nice to have you on the podcast. At first, please tell us what your company does.
So we are primarily a M&A software firm. Primarily, our focus is, we have M&A skills embedded in our software. So we come from the M&A background, real, deal execution expertise. So what we do is basically we help company to do, post-merger integration, but in turn, we do everything in M&A. So we help company whoever wanted to, go through a M&A process. We help them through our platform.
Okay.
So,
what do you see is the biggest problem that you see in the space and that you are solving?
so biggest challenge, because I'm an M&A practitioner and I used to, work for a big company, and I used to work for very complex M&A deal execution. And I realized that M&A is more manual effort, because many times you don't see who all are working part of your team sitting in different part of the world.
Yes.
And I realized that most of the time, I work with people to whom I never met. I never spoke, maybe sometime over phone. And the process, what company build across the world, that corporate development team, which is main team who drives the M&A process, they all were sitting in different country, and complex organizations are very difficult to manage, in the sense there is a company within company, and many of the teams across business, they never talk to each other. So basically, I realized that one of the biggest challenge what we have in M&A is we have to really, go and seek people to do their job, ask them what they are doing. We have a common goal, but how to accomplish that? So those processes were more manual, and the CEO or head of corporate development within a large firm, if he wanted to know what is happening around this deal, he really need to go and talk to his team and understand exactly what is going on. So what we are doing is we solving that problem by digitizing the whole M&A process. The idea is to make sure that everyone have the same level of information, right? Depending on whatever they are doing. So if I'm the CEO of a company, my worry is if we have spent money to buy any company, how we are going to integrate, how you are going to create value, how you are going to minimize the job loss, and making sure that there is value creation from the deal. So that is what our focus is. This is what we are solving it.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. What would you say are the top, most loved features for the platform?
So primarily in the broad category, if you look at MergerWare does a couple of things. One is building your build pipeline. So, you wanted to have a view of what are the company you are going to buy in next 5 years.
Okay.
Or what currently, you are doing within a company, how many company you are looking at. You're necessarily not buying all the company, but building your deal pipeline for the future and ongoing deals. So that we do through deal pipeline. Then we do a lot of things around due diligence, like storing your document, during the deal process between buyer and seller. Communication is very secure, so you don't have to really send an email and, the other guy open the email and again send a couple of attachments and asking for information. So this whole process is done through MergerWare. So basically, if you use MergerWare, then buyer and seller don't have to worry about information leakage about the deal, because they are very confidential. And also the sharing information become very easy, very handy, on the go. So that we do. And then once deal is signed and closed, then we help, integration, because that is the critical part.
Okay. So you handle the whole process.
Yes, end to end. Yeah, end to end.
Nice. And do you have a customer success story that you can share? Not necessarily with any names or numbers, but something that people can keep in mind.
Yeah. So in fact, we work with a variety of customers. They are in, large enterprises. They are consultants, like who are doing M&A consulting across different customers. Then we have large consulting firm who are primarily working for, different market verticals, different segment, and helping customer in different M&A life cycle, starting from deal pipeline to due diligence to post-merger integration. We have a lot of a story. So one of the story I can tell you that we started working with team who were just very new, setting up the basic M&A process. So we helped. So MergerWare had the great skill in building the M&A process, how to make sure that process we build that defines success of the deal. And we started working with them at the very early of the deal, and we worked for many years. Going through the process, they were using our software, making sure that the team is helping them to adopt the platform, making it very easy. Because one goal for MergerWare is to make sure that people who are doing M&A, they already have a lot of work to do. So we don't want to give something which is very complicated software and they have to do additional activity. So we make sure that they have to, do their daily job instead of doing an Excel sheet or, in a bit and pieces, they can have this within the platform that helps their job to, it helps their job to be very easy, right? Because whatever they are doing, it's more streamlined, more organized.
I understand. And do you only work with SaaS companies?
So we work with any company. So that's what I was saying earlier, that our customers are a variety of customers. It's a large enterprises. Enterprises, when I say, it's like maybe oil and gas, maybe telecommunication company, maybe hotels, real estate company. So it's a variety of customers. And that is the beauty of this, business, because you are not only in one market segment, but you look, customer who are anyone and everyone who is M&A deal, they are our customers.
That's a good market, yeah. And how is your pricing? How does your pricing work?
So we see the way we price our product is we are very agile company. We wanted to make sure customers who are using our software, really they are getting value out of it. It is not just selling the software and not, creating any value for customer. But just to answer your question, we sell as a software license. So number of users who are going to have access on the platform, we only charge for that, That way we recover our expenses. So basically, there are multiple way of, customers come to us. Somebody come and say, okay, I want to start with a small team and then maybe we want to go global. So we price differently. Then we have a customer where, 1,000 users are using the software. 1,000 users sitting across different countries. Maybe they represent different, department within the company. Everyone participates in M&A. So all are using. So we have a variety of customers. So each customers are very different. Their requirements are very different. Their budgets are very different. So we try to see that we help everyone, because that's how we build MergerWare. And we build from my expertise of doing M&A. So I understand, because I was at the other side of the table. Now I'm trying to solve from my side. So we have kept it very organized for customers.
That's great. And what trends do you see in the future of M&A? You have such a large perspective with so many customers.
So if you look at M&A in overall last 10 years, if you look at, there is always peak, there is a down, there is a, constant wave of, but M&A is going to happen, right? You might always hear the news that M&A is not so great this quarter, but next quarter again, you see there are $1 billion deal happening. So M&A is one thing which company must do and company have to do if they want to grow, right? So either it could be a small company or maybe you want to go to different market and explore. You go through acquisition. That is the best thing I suggest company, that go through acquisition for your growth.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. I'd love to know how competitive is your space, and how do you differentiate from the rest?
See, we are our space is very different space. We are not going to all the company and selling our software and providing our services. We look for the company who really have a critical challenge in M&A while they are buying company or while they are selling their company. The buy side, mostly they need to integrate both companies together. That is called value creation. So we go to those company and say, look, we'll help you in how you can do your job better. We don't just say, go and buy the software. We say how this software is going to make your life easier. How, if your KPI is value creation, how we can help you to do that. Right? Any tool, any software is not a magic. Right? You have to do the job. software brings discipline. It makes sure that you don't have to go and chase people to get things done. You can log in the software and see what is happening.
When exactly did you start the company and what was the idea behind it?
So look, the MergerWare not a planned company that I have to start MergerWare because
Okay.
I used to work in a large company managing M&A deal execution, and that's how I realized while I'm meeting different company people, trying to understand how they are doing. So generally, when I was a senior executive guy, leading post-merger integration in a large company, and that gave me opportunity to really work on very hands-on on the deal while you are integrating the company. See, if you Google, you find 90% of the deal fail, right? But really, why deal fails? That only you'll come to know when you start working on the deal, and you come in a very complex deal. You see the real difficulty on daily basis, right? So while I was doing that, the job, I realized that there is an opportunity to build a company around this space because one is there is not many company in this space. The second is since it has come from my own problem, my own learning, whatever I learned. So why don't I build a company? So basically, I built this company in US, in Boston. We are still Boston-based, and I think 2018 mid we started this company in Boston. And now we have teams across the world. We have team in India, in Bangalore. We have in Boston. We have in New Jersey. We have in Paris. So I think the teams are almost around the world. But our goal is very simple, very clear, that we want to work with enterprises to scale their M&A outcome, deal outcome. Right?
That's a great vision.
Can integrate better. Yeah. That is our vision.
Yeah. And how many team members in total do you have?
So we have around 20 people, including full-time, few contractors, some designers, some freelancers.
Right.
And then, of course, our network is so large because I was in M&A, in a team. I have team around the world. So I have experts who can give me advice on how to integrate to company and how to do their, human resources part of. Then I have people who can tell me how to do legal part of.
Yeah, of course.
How to do tax part of.
Yeah. Without that, it would have been much more difficult.
Right. So for me, my team are not only the people who work with me, but the peers with whom I work, my past colleague with whom I work in deal execution. Those all are my team only, right? Maybe directly or indirectly they are helping me.
Yeah,
I learn every day. My customers, every time I talk to customer and try to understand what pain points have, how they are managing their M&A deal execution. I learned a lot of things, and then I also suggest something that what I learned, I suggest to them. What they learned and what problem they have, they share with me. So this is more mutual.
That's great. I'm happy for you. And I'm curious now, did you raise any funding or is it a bootstrap company?
So we are fully bootstrap company. We never raise fund. Of course, many our colleagues, they came and supported, and then that's how we build the company. Now we get money from our customer and we reinvest, we build a company. So we are fully bootstrap company now.
Congratulations. And what was your biggest challenge since starting the company?
See, the biggest challenge, there are couple of, but I think one is, one is mostly to convince customer that, technology platform is going to enable your job easier, going to give you better deal outcome, right? So this convincing part, of course, there are many companies who are convinced they have the challenges, they come to us. There are many times we find that company who are in the middle of the deal, they are feeling very difficult and they are sure they are not able to do the integration well, but still they are very hesitant to come and talk to a company like us and say that we have challenge, how we can solve. So I think that is more of educating customer. I think that is one thing, education to customer. And I think MergerWare have been very, instrumental in bringing this awareness through podcasts, through webinars, writing some of the best story. And I think now there is big awareness. So when I started, I think the level of awareness was not so great. Now there are lots of customers come and talk. Not necessarily everybody buys the software, but at least when they talk to me and I try to understand what challenges they have, many times I feel they don't need to buy, any software, but they have to fix the basic. If they don't have the basic, they cannot buy software.
Right.
So that is one challenge I see most of the time. Otherwise, there is no much challenge. Of course, many times there are companies who are doing M&A deal which nobody knows. That is another challenge. They also don't know me. So we are searching them. They are also searching us. So that is one challenge, how to find them.
Yeah, I saw you're really big on education, doing a lot of podcasts. I understand that it's a big focus for you because it's worth it and you need to educate your customers.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know, how did you get your first customers?
So most of customers till now, all have come to me directly. Okay.
Now.
So when I was just building the product, I have a very big company who came and they were really in between deal and they wanted to see that if they can use some software. Of course, it was tough for them to decide because there are multiple decision makers. Somebody is very convinced that, we should have tool. But luckily we were good enough to, work with them, show them that there is the real value if you use software. And I think they did one of the, most critical DD they had. And of course, we customize our platform a bit for them because we are very early. We are just building the platform. And they were customers who came directly to us. Until now, most of the customers have come directly. Either they reach out through our webinar or sometimes they connect me directly and say that since I have worked in M&A, they understand that I know the challenges what they are going through. So for me, it's easier to reconnect with them, talk to them, and see that where I can support them.
So today, this is the most successful go-to-market strategy, still inbound. People are coming to you for help.
Right.
Nice. And this is a process of education that you invest in webinars and also your thought leadership and experience in the past. So speaking of that, I'd love to know your background story. How you started your career?
So my career have been, very interesting. I used to do, very earlier in my career, I was doing something. I studied from, I'm engineer by profession.
Mm-hmm.
When I started my journey, I worked in the plant. So I know how the shop floor works.
Mm-hmm.
What is the, different machinery operating from CNC lathes to, different machinery. I know how to do it. I work. And the company was like giving me different opportunity to learn because they thought that I can do things very quickly. So I learned so many things as an engineer. Then I spent my almost 6 to 7 years as a product manager, where I have been, I was building a product, it's a medical product, ultrasound machines, and where we were building a next generation product, seeing how we can really make ultrasound product very simpler to use, very easy to handle by doctors, and should be, technology driven. So that I spent many years. Then I joined a French company and I was instrumental in setting up their one of the research center in India. And that's how my career started in India and along. So almost 7-8 years, I was running the center, grew the team around, more than 700-800 people.
Wow.
And then then I was at INSEAD, a business school in France. I spent a year there and then I started doing my role as a head of M&A, especially focused on post-merger integration. And I was very fortunate because that was the role I directly came from business school and joined. So for me, there are a lot of learning. So whatever I learned for all 14, 15 years, I just, those were my last career. Then I started very fresh. Yeah. And I started with M&A, which was very new world to me. And everything was very hands-on. So for me, the best part was learn from everyone. So all my team, they all were M&A experts. So since I was working directly with them, I learned M&A. I learned what are the process for integration and why we should build. So within the company, I was responsible for building the M&A process. So that's called playbook. So I designed the playbook by working with different departments, looking at what we could do and how we should make this process better. So everyone can make this M&A process consistent. The idea was what we have in corporate team, the corporate development team, should drive this M&A process across company, across all acquisitions. So whatever deal company we are doing, the process, what we build still company is using it. And that
Wow.
was the biggest learning we had. And I think one after other, you can say that, a vision came to the point where I have to build something like MergerWare.
That's amazing. And I have to ask you, what's your best piece of advice for a starting founder?
So yes, I think I see most of founders at the beginning, they don't really work on their idea, whatever they have, because you have to validate your idea first. You have to work hard. You put your focus to, validate your business first before you do anything else. Now I see most of founders, as soon as they get idea, they start putting a pitch deck. Pitch deck is good, but you don't have to invest too much time on pitch deck unless until your idea is proven to yourself. We have built some basic prototype or whatever idea you have, at least there is some realization to yourself, right? And then try to have early customers, because if customers are able to buy your product and services, I think that is the best validation. If there is no customer is not buying your product, even you have good pitch book,
Yes.
right? Even you go and get a good amount of funding, which you could easily get if you have very good marketing material. But this is not going to help you for long term. For long term, only the business which will go further, which has solid customer base, where product is validated and customers are ready to pay. And you are really solving some challenge which really meant to customer. So these are my advice. Basically, I give to anyone who is starting. Validate your idea first. You should be one who should get first level of confidence that, this is a great idea and there is a customer who is ready to pay. Of course, you talk to people. There is no harm in going and talking, but don't waste your time too much on making pitch and going and pitching to 20 people.
Yeah.
Make your product better. Make some paying customers. Because if I have a product, I have X number of paying customers, that funding will come directly. So I don't have to go for funding. I have to go for customers. So make sure that your customer pays for you. And then everybody pays.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the advice. I have one last question for you. What's your favorite SaaS product that you use, but apart from MergerWare? A software that you use and you'd really recommend to other people?
Other software you were saying?
Yeah.
Any other software apart from MergerWare?
Yes.
So basically, so as a company, we use very basic software. As a company, we use very basic software, which really goes and make my life easier. We don't just go and buy, so many software to do things. We don't invest on too many marketing tools, unnecessary. We know that because our market is not like you go and, send lots of email and that is going to happen. Yeah. Whenever we send any email, it's always for information. It's always for information sharing. It's always for whatever we have learned, we are sharing with others. It's not to sell the product. Right? Okay. So generally, as a company, I'm not very fan of course, other than Microsoft tool, Gmails or other tool, AWS we use because our customers, our product is deployed on AWS, Azure, or we are open to customer who come and say, okay, I want to do in Alibaba, I want to do some other cloud. So that we do. But in general, we are very normal users. We use only the software which really, help us to do our job better. Yeah,
I understand. Thank you for sharing. Is there anything else that you want to mention today on the podcast before we close down?
So I think MergerWare is, it's not just a product; it's a vision. It's vision for it's started with very small, but overall vision is to make sure that everyone who is working in M&A team, they should use MergerWare as a platform to do their daily job. And we want to make our mission and vision is to make sure that we make MergerWare as a very simplest platform that anybody can use. On the back end, it could be very complex, but when customer use it, it's very, very simple. And it solves most of the M&A challenges. And that's what we want to be.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for joining the podcast. And you did fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.